So hope you guys downloaded the data. The data we're going to be using is still the sales apocalypse for the today's class. But I'm going to recap for the last class. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my whole screen. Share. So I'm going to bring in the data. Hope you have all the data. After recapping, I'm going to start. But put that out. So my data is in desktop. Again, let's do a quick recap before we start for today's class. Quick recap. What we talked about last was merge append query. Merge and append query. So I'm going to bring this in. So you guys should always try and go through the video on the seller. So there to help you out. So first we tell you to transform. Bring it from Power Query. Let me provide this next slide. Okay, so I did this one the other day. This is actually not the data I use for this is what data set are we going to use for this class. Yeah. The sales apocalypse prep. That's what we're using. That's the one we used last class. Sales apocalypse prep. That's what we're using. Yeah, I think you should already down. You should have already downloaded sales apocalypse prep. That's what we're using. Okay. I already shared it. I will share it again, but I already shared it before the last. I will share it again. I will share it. I will share it. I'm going to bring in data. This is down here. So I'm coming. I'm sharing the data, please. I have them. Okay, I'll still share it. But still share. Anybody that does not have, I want to see. So I've just reshared the data. This class. Okay. So I'm just trying to recap the last class. We're going to get our class for today. Okay, so to first of all, yeah, we did append. So append query. I can let me still bring in data again. Sales. I'm going to just bring in just two. Data. Just two of this. Okay. We're going to bring it to So I have these two data here, and I want to append it. So the append query is basically used for adding two tables together. I want to stack two tables together and make a full table. Maybe the table is coming from the same company, and you want to stack them together. They have to have the same column, unless you get null. So if the data is coming from the same company, you can actually stack the two of them together. So and create one full table instead of adding the two tables to your Power Query and start you can just create one full table and use it. So to append, very simple, select the first sheet you want to append to. Come to append query right here. That's my responsibility. Say append query. And click on append query and click on the drop down on the append query and click on append queries. Okay, append queries. Come here. Click on the table you want to append to this table. So sheet 2. Click on append. I have that appended for me. So you can see that I have now one full table combining the sheet 1 and the sheet 2. 1, 2 together. You can see the sheet 1 and the sheet 1. So it's now combined together. So if I want to add more columns like 2016, 2017, I can 2017 and 2018 and 2019, I can bring them in to this place also, and I can also append them. If I append them, it goes on that table I have here. So that's how you append. If you have a question on this for the person, for anybody that was not in the last class, you can ask, just raise your hand and ask a question. But if you don't ask, okay, the next thing is you can also append as new. If you call append query as new, when you go to append query as new, you can create, you can append the queries and create a new table that is going to be added to. So like, for example, I want to append this, I want to append the second table to it. But now, I want to put it as a new table. So I get a new table now. See that I have this sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 1, 2, and then I have append query. So it's creating a new table for me. And then add those two tables together, that new table that I have. So for personalization is that I'm going to person has a drop down his hand. I mean, maybe I've answered your question. Okay, the hand is clear. I go ahead and mute Samsung SM. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Kingsley.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
So please, you can shift the other. If you say going, I think you will have a device on the other side. Please, can you just move it aside?
I private chat you this morning concerning the challenges I'm having. I did this assignment and I saved it. By the time I went through it again, I realized that I couldn't find it. So I didn't know what really went wrong.
Two things: either you did not save it, maybe mistakenly. Did you do it again?
Sir?
Did you close and apply from Power Query?
Yes, sir.
And you saved it in Power BI, and it was not showing.
I went through file and I saved.
Okay.
I click on saved as, and I saved it on my Power BI.
What was the name? Okay, you opened the same file and it was your just okay. Wait, you click on save as.
Yes, sir.
How many times did you actually save it? Have you saved it before you click on save as again?
I'm not too sure.
So if you have saved it before and click on save as, if you change the name while clicking on save as again, it will save it as that second name. So if you open the other one that you saved it as before, you're not going to see what you did there.
I couldn't even see the 3 assignments that I did.
Let me show you an example. So let me go to Power BI. This Power BI. If I come here and I save, if I've saved before, if I click on save and I've saved it before, and now when I'm done with the assignment and I come and save it again using save as, it's going to create another name. It's going to create that same this thing. It's going to create in another place. Then add that save the one I just did there to that one. So I have now, if I did that, I have 2 files. So you can check if that's what you did for that area. I think that might be so, because if you click on save as, you're saving it as another maybe another name. That's why you have save as. Save is just save it when you just normal save. If you've saved it before, if you use save, it's going to save it on top of what you have there before. It's not going to create a new name for you to start putting another name. But if you're using save as, you're going to be saving it as another name. I don't know if you understand. So you can check through, maybe that's what you did. If not, you can try it again to see. Okay, please, sorry, Miss Olale, can unmute, please.
Okay, thank you. Just good evening, everyone.
Good
Just
evening.
going back on the last question the other person asked. Let me put it that way. I think you need to give an example of that, because I understand what the guy is trying to say. I had the same issue. So maybe you just give us an example on how to do that.
Okay.
To make it clearer. Thank you.
I'll do that. Okay, so I'll do that when I'll do that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I've actually done this. So I'm going to I'm just going to apply and save so that I can go and save this thing. So close and apply. So it's still applying. So let's wait for it to apply. Okay, so I have this done. So now if I come to my file and say save as, let's say for the first time, let's say save first. I'll just click on save. If I click on save, and they're telling me to add my name, so I'm going to just add a name for it. So I'm saying saved file. Just for this saved file. So I have this saved. So I saved this one. If I go to my data, where I have my distance located, let me go to there. Let me go there. See sales class. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Sales class. It is it here. So I see I have this file saved file. But when I come back here and I come and say I want to save again, if I click on save as, now I'm saving this as another file. If I mistakenly change this name here, it's going to be saved as another file. And if I want to save, but if I don't change the name, it's going to automatically apply it to this one, which is going to override this one and add this one there. But if I mistakenly change the name by putting like 2 there, now you save this one as another one. Even if I've done any changes or anything to this thing now, it's now saved as another one. So if I go to that place and I go ahead and click on this one, it's going to open what I had there before I do the changes I did on this one. So let me someone is using it, and I'll meet you please. So it's going to automatically it's going to have the changes I did before. What is going to be in this one now, which is this save file, is what I did before I now save this one here. Because I clicked on save as. So if I'm opening this one, I'm going to open it and I'm going to see what I did there before I did this one. So if you saved it when you came in and you now went ahead and saved as again, if you click on the new one you saved, you will just see. If you click on the old one you saved, you will just see the way it was before you saved it the first time. So you can check to see if that's what you did for the this thing not to show. So someone was using this, and let me. Okay, Mr. Sunday, please unmute.
Good evening, sir, Mr. Kenneth. Kingsley, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for this, and thank you for the person who actually raised this question. I had a similar challenge too. I think is one. When working on Power BI, after everything, we have to what's this name now? You have to close, you have to close the data, you have to save, I forgot.
Close and apply.
Yeah, you have to apply and close.
Okay.
Now, in the rest, other softwares like Microsoft Word and Excel, they are not like that. Once you finish your work, you just save, and that's all. Or you save as. But this one, we want you to apply, then you close. Now, at times, some of us want to close and apply, apply and close. After everything, you want to now say you want to save. Then it creates another challenge. Where is the file that you have applied and closed? Okay, so now, then some few people that I know, they try to come up with the idea, okay, once I have finished whatever I'm doing, I apply. So before I close, let me quickly save as. So if I save as, then I'll choose my location, my directory, where the file is being stored. Then I can easily have access to it. So I think maybe you can help us to differentiate all. Apply and close. If I do that, will I still have access to where will I get access to my to the files I've just created?
Okay, I get now. I understand now. Very, very
thank
clear.
you, sir.
So now, close up and apply is for Power Query. Two things: Power Query and Power BI. Power Query is just an extension, and is an add-on to Power BI. Power Query is in Excel. Power Query has its own platform, which is Power Flow. So Power Query is just as an add-on. And two, if you save in Power Query before you close and apply, you are just saving in Power Query. You do not save it in Power BI. So when you close and apply, you have to save in Power BI. So the reason why we are using Power Query is just to clean up our data. So if our data is actually naturally very clean, we don't need to clean it up. We don't need to go to Power Query. So Power Query is just an add-on that is there. If you go to Excel, you go to, I think it's data side, you see Power Query there too. You see transform this into go to Power Query there, it's there. So Power Query is just an add-on. So whenever you are done with that, you see that whenever we go to Power Query, it opens another interface for us. It's not still like it opens its own interface where we see on untitled Power Query Editor. So if I do anything on Power Query, if I go here, let me go to transform again. Let me go to Power Query. So this it opens another platform for me. I'm no longer this. I'm no longer like this now. I'm no longer in Power BI, but I have the logo here, which is telling me that this add-on was added is in Power BI. Not if it was in Excel now, you to show me this same interface. To show me this same interface, but it's going to have Excel logo up here when you see Power BI logo. But it's the same interface because his Power Query is just it has his own platform on its own. It's not like Power BI is one. It's not like it came before with Power BI. It's in Excel too. So it's basically used for cleaning up our data. So when we are done, if you save here, if you're saving your file here, which you can actually do. If it's here, you come here and save your file. You're just saving in Power BI. You're just saving your this in the Power Query. You're not saving it in Power. So whenever you close and apply, and still go to your Power BI, which is here, when I close and apply like this, when I come here now, I have to still save again because that's when I'm saving in Power BI. So if I save here now, that's when I'm actually saving in Power BI. So if I save as this, so if I'm saving in Power Query, I'm not saving it in Power BI. If I close this, that my data is gone because I did not save it. So you have to save it in Power BI. Power BI is the main thing you are using. Power Query is just an add-on. So whenever we are done with Power Query and want to go to Power BI, you have to close and apply. We are not saving in Power Query. We close and apply in Power Query. Then when we get in here, this is where we save. So it's just an add-on. It's basically just an add-on. It was not even in Power BI 2016. It was not even when Power BI it's in 2018. Power Query was you have to add Power Query yourself when you download Power BI. But now Microsoft just added it directly by putting the transform data ribbon there for you. You don't need to go and be adding it. So it's just an add-on that was added by Power BI so that you can just use it to transform transform your data. So please, do you understand? And Samsung, please, where do you save? Do you save it in Power Query or because you saved it before? If you saved it before closing and apply, you saved in Power Query. But if you close and apply and save in Power BI, that's when you actually save your data. Do you understand? Can you guys hear me?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Everything they just say now, it doesn't display though. It doesn't display at all.
I can't hear you.
I see.
I can't hear the person that is. I cannot hear you anymore. Seriously, I don't know if it's your network or something. It has gone out. Mr. Samsung, do you understand? Please mute to and say so that I know you, so that I can move on. Understand? And check where you saved it. Please, if you saved it in Power Query, you have to go and check. It was not displayed. Displayed? Oh, wait, I was sharing my screen now. Can you guys see my screen? Seriously, I cannot hear you. Is it my network? Francis, Sir Francis, I can't hear you. Okay. Your network is particular. Okay, my network is perfect. Then I think he's the person that was saying that because I cannot hear anything else. Okay, so please, if you don't understand, let's move on. So that's it. So please don't save in Power Query. You just close and apply in Power Query. You save in Power BI because anything that you close and apply in Power Query, when you come to your Power BI and save it, if you want to go back to Power Query, it's just transform and you go back to where the data was when you saved the Power BI. So it's always good, just close and apply and come and save in Power BI. So how can we make progress? Okay. So please, I'm going to start with today's class. Because of time, this is already 8:30. And I recap at the end of the class. Maybe I'll recap at the end of the class. Let's move on. So today we are going to be talking about relationships. So I want to remove some data. I'm going to come back to Power Query first. So you see, I have data here. These data I have, the ones I don't want to. So the only ones I want to use is this my 3 data: Apocalypse Sales, Apocalypse Store, and customer information. So I'm going to delete this. So I can delete the data. There are 2 things I can do to remove this data now. 2 things I can do. So if I want to delete, I don't want to use the data at all. I want to delete it. I can click on each and every one of the tables and delete them from here. So, but what if I want to use the data again later? But I want it to remain in Power Query. But I don't want it to show in Power BI. But I want the data to be in Power Query. So what I can do is right-click here and say this. You see enable load. Just click on behind it. So as I click on enable load, I click on continue. Now this data now will not be loaded because I have already disabled the load. So it's not going to be loaded to Power Query, to Power BI. Hi, instructor. I have been sick. Okay, yeah. I missed a lot of classes. Okay, I will send you the last recorded classes and you go through them. If you have any issue, message me so that I can help. So I'll just send you later. Okay, so let's continue. So what I can do is I'll just disable the load. So because I want these data to still remain in Power BI, in Power Query, because I want to make use of them later. But I don't want them to be loaded to Power BI. So I can just disable load from here. Click on continue. on each and every one of those data, I can disable load. So I want to use this 3, so I'm going to leave that. Disable load for this. This is what you can do. All these data are still here, but they are not just going to be put to Power BI. Yes. So you see, I have just those 3 data that I left there. So, but if I go back to Power Query, I can see all these data here. So what I can do to bring them back is I click and just enable load, and I'll bring them back to Power BI. So this is just, it's making it to remain in Power Query, and I just click once I want to go to Power BI. Hope you all understand that. That's very easy. Hope you all understand. Please just yes, so I can move on. No, if you don't. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna take this time. Kindly do. It's just right click on any one of them you want to remove, any one of them you want to like not you don't want to apply, you don't want to show on Power BI. You just right click on them and say if it's done, you say you click on it so that the check, if I click on it now, you see it's going to be checked back. You see that it's checked back. So if you show it like this, I just need to turn it off like this. And if I right click on that, now you see that that mark that was behind is no longer there.
How are you? How are you?
What do you do after you disable loading? Yes, if you after you disable the loading, you close and apply. So these disabled ones will not show in Power BI. If you want to bring it back, go back from Power BI, go back to Power Query and just right click on any one of them you want to bring back and click on it. It's going to just enable the load again, so I can go ahead and okay. Please, Mr. Oluwaseun, please unmute.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you for the lecture. What I just want to put my own idea is you are teaching us, but please let your teaching go along with the clicking. You know, the cursor.
I think that's my network. I will change my network.
Going, so let's just see the direction. So let the what you are saying go along with the cursor. So we need to understand where the cursor is going through, and that's it. Thank you very much.
I think if that does that. Is it the same thing for other people? I think it should be my network. I will just need to change. What's the reason for unloading those? Does it have any implications? Okay, Miss Memsala was asking. So if you have too many data loaded in Power BI, it actually slows down your Power BI. And 2, I don't want to use those data for our class today. The ones I want to use is just this Apocalypse that I brought in. That's why I'm actually disabling the load. I can actually delete it if I want to. So, but I just wanted to show you that you can also disable the load if you don't want it to show and you still want it to be in Power BI. So you can also disable load if you have plenty data and this thing is slowing down and there's some that you don't want to use for that particular time. You can just disable the load, then use the ones you want to use. Then when maybe you want to bring it back later, you go back to Power Query and bring them back later. See, please, so he was saying that is it the same thing for others? I think that's if it's the same, that should be my network, please. I already answered that now, Miss Games. Didn't you hear me? Okay, sorry. Okay, I thought she's this. It's not. No, it's not. That's the same on my side. I think it should be your network. Person that was asking, I think it should be your network because they are saying that it's not the same thing on their side. I think you should maybe switch your network provider because the network that should be doing that, not my screen. I think it's the network. So check your network and let me move on. So I'm going to disable this one I just enabled now. Disable it, then close and apply. So okay, so it's not loading again. Okay. Okay, so let's start. So as I was saying, so today we're going to be talking about how to create relationship in Power BI and the reasons why we need a relationship in Power BI. So let's come down. This to create a relationship in Power BI, what we need to do is come down to the last view we have here. I'm going to zoom in so that you can see my the view. That it's too small, so I'm going to come in plus. Not working. Okay, it's working now. Okay, so you can see my views. You have the first one, report view, the model, the data view, and then the model view. So the model view is where we are going to be creating the relationship for our data. Okay. So quick explanation. So relationship is basically used to create a pathway for us to be able to analyze through different data. For example, now for my data, I have 3 different data, and these 3 different data now are different. I said 3 different data. I have 3 different tables, and in these 3 different tables now, I have different information. So I'm going to look through the 3 different data in my data view. So where I'm going to show you guys. So in my data view now, let's wait for it to load. Data is loading. So in my data view, I have this first data, which is the sales, Apocalypse sales. You can see the data that I have there, this is our fact table. So our fact table is basically like the sales table. If it's for a company, the table that is the table that we generate from the 2 tables we have here is called our fact table. Fact table that every code table that you have, every table you have in your data works. Okay, the table that works off every table you have in your data. For example, now this our data we have here. This data here is basically comprises of the data we get from this place, this data here, and this one here. So you know that in this table we have customer ID. The customer ID is coming from customer information. You can see customer ID here. So it's coming from customer information. And we have customer name, which is customer name. If you come to this place, you see it's coming from customer information. Then we have the store. Yeah, we have the product ID, which is coming from this place. This is our product ID, and all the product that is being sold in this table we have here is coming from this store, which means you are selling all the product we sold is from this store here. So that means that this data is coming from these 2 data here, these 2 tables here. This sales Apocalypse table is made up of these 2 tables we have here. So without these 2 tables, we don't have these tables. We don't have this table. So and also we can just have one table of this if we don't want to like the one we did for that sales class. Now you see everything is in that table. I want to the customer information and everything. So we can still do the same thing here. We can just merge query and bring in other ones in here if you just want to use one table. to analyze. So you can see that all this. So let me move on. So you can see that all this information we have here is coming from these two tables here. So it's coming from these two tables here, which makes this table we have here our fact table. Sorry, I just turned off the table. Which makes all these tables we have here our fact table. This table we have here as our fact table that contains the information of what you are trying to analyze. So if we are going to be, and also it's where we have the common information, because if you look at this place now, if you want, for example, now let me use merge as an example. Let's say I want to merge I want to merge query with this table I have here now, and I want to bring in a table like the one we did. I want to bring in a column from this particular one. So you can see that I actually have a common distinction between them, because this table, this sales table. Okay, sorry, someone is messaging. Let me check. Please, do you mean part table? I said fact. Not part. Let me type it out. Let me type it on the chat. It's not part. Fact table. So let's continue. So as I was saying, so this my table here, which is my Apocalypse sales, contains an information that we also have here, which is our customer ID and the customer name. So if I want to I want to merge now and I want to bring in any information, I can easily use my customer ID or customer name to bring in the information, because I'm merging and I'm going to match a column, match the customer. In the customer information, I'm going to use customer ID, and in the Apocalypse sales, I'm also going to use the customer ID there to create the relationship, to merge as the common ground, so that I can bring in that column that I want to bring in. So the same thing applies for relationship. So if I'm creating a relationship, you have to make sure you have a table. And before you even try to create a relationship, there is always going to be a column that matches between the tables you want to create a relationship for. So there's always going to be a column that matches between the ones you want to create a relationship for. So let's say, for example, I want to create a relationship between these two tables now. This is my Apocalypse sales and customer information. Now, so if I want to create this relationship between these two, I'm going to be using my customer ID to create a relationship. So but before I just wanted to explain this part. So before I get that, if you come in here, you can see that automatically Power BI create a relationship for us. If you look through this, because Power BI automatically create a relationship for us. If I'm trying to do any analyzing and if I want to analyze or do anything, I can actually analyze it, because there's a relationship between those two tables. I know that the reason for us to create a relationship between these tables is because we want to analyze through those tables and get accurate information. So let's say I delete this, and let's see the reason why we really need to create a relationship. I'm going to delete the relationship that I have here, and I'm going to show you using a practical to show you the main reason. So I'm going to delete the relationship between these two tables. I'm going to delete the relationship between them. I have this deleted. So you see, there's no relationship between them now. Let's say now I want to create a report. I want to analyze this table now, and I want to create a report. And let's say now, coming through this my data now, let's say I want to, on my sales on the Apocalypse sales, I have units sold. I want to know total units sold to a particular customer. Total units sold to a particular customer, and I want to use a visual to do that. So the visual that I can use is to use my table visual. So if I come to my table here, let's say first of all, I'm going to show you how to use measures later. I just want to use this measure I want to create for an example for you. So so let's say I bring in my data here. I'm going to use my Apocalypse sales. I want to bring in my unit sold to this place. So my column here. So it's coming, loading. So I have I use metric. So I was supposed to use this. So you see, all of the units sold is being named. I see all the units sold. So now I want to see the units sold for a particular customer. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to bring in my customer information. Okay, so this will from this other table. So bring it here, add it here. So now you see, it's telling me that there's no relationship between this class. Relationship detected. It's trying to do the relationship for me. So the reason why it's showing like this now is because there's no relationship between those two tables. Now Power BI will automatically try to create the not create it. So, but you see, the reason why it's showing like this now is showing me that can't display this visual because there's no relationship between these two tables. I'm bringing it from this table and this table now. And I want to analyze those tables. This is not basically the way it's meant to actually show. It's supposed to show, but it's going to show me error there. And I'm going to talk, okay, let's move on. But if you look at this now, if I click on fix, let me zoom in. So that I can see that there's fix there. Can see. So you see this fix now. If I click on this fix, so that Power BI will know why I'm having that error. Network. Can you guys hear me? My network is fluctuating. Can you guys hear me? So network connection. Yes, okay. So you see, now it's showing me relationship detected. So it's trying to help me create the relationship before I can do that visual. So it's trying to help me create the relationship before I can do that visual. So this is the reason why I have to create the relationship. So let's say, for example, in this place where I have it now, I'm going to cancel close this. I'm going to come back to my data. So this is loading. Let me go back. Because let's say I know that for this data I have the customer name here. So if I am bringing the customer name from this same table, it's supposed to work. Let's see that. I'm going to leave this out, and I'm going to bring the customer name from here. From that same, because I have customer name is Apocalypse sales table. So you see, it shows down for me. It shows me for each and every one of the customers this is they bought. So, but it's not summed up. It's just showing me for this place. If I want to sum it up, I can just use a measure. Let me do that so that it's summed up. Let me use quick measure. This measure is in the next class. We're going to talk about measure. So the question I want to do is sum. Let me just use this. So I can use a new measure from here. I speak. Just type out the code. So I want to create total units. Units. Sorry. Total units. So that's the function I want to create. I'm going to use sum. I want to sum the Apocalypse sales units column. Goes back and enter. So I want to just get a total unit of that so that to sum for each and every one of the customers. This is what we are going to do later, so don't bother about that now. I just want to do this for example. So I'm going to bring in this one, what I just did now, to this place. So now So each and every one of the customers is going to show me the amount they bought. That's why I did instead of showing me it's going to show me the total unit they bought. If I don't do it like this, it's going to show me for each and every one of the products, it's going to show me the amount they bought. So doing it like this, just show me the total unit they bought. So this is what I wanted to. So you can see that this worked because they are in the same table. I have my customer name in the same table. So when I was bringing it in from this place, it was not working because it's another different table. And to be able to use that, you need to create a relationship. And to be able to use something like that, you need to create a relationship between those two tables. So let's say, for example, now we don't have that customer name in that place. Let's say we don't have customer name, and customer name is what we want to use. So doing this, you can create a relationship between the two tables because you're going to have a column that is going to be the common ground between the two tables. But that column is not, maybe it's our customer ID, but it's not our customer name. And what wants the column we want to use for this analyzation now is to analyze this that I want to do now is the customer name or is the customer, which is this column here. So all we can do is just go to, you can use another function. I'm going to show you three things you can do. You can go to merge query and bring in that column back to your, you can bring the column name to your Apocalypse sales table and just use like that. If you don't want to create a relationship, but you always need to create a relationship. I don't know if you see a reason why you don't need to create a relationship. The other thing you can do, you can use a function called select column. So you use select column to bring in that column into the Apocalypse sales table and you can use it. So, but it's always good to create a relationship so that we can actually just go to those two tables. You can get the data you want to use. Because, okay, let's say for example now we no longer want to use the customer name again. We want to use state to do it. And the state is not you. Are you going to be going back there to do the same thing? But if you have a relationship, you don't need to do all that. You can just bring two of them from different tables and it will automatically give you the correct answer that you're going to get. So as I said before, Power BI automatically detects the relationship. It automatically detects the relationship. When you open your Power BI, come to data model, it will create a relationship between those two tables. So I'm going to use this so that I can see it's like this. So let's move on. So as I was saying, so Power BI automatically detects the relationship. You saw that when I came in here, I was the one that deleted the relationship that I had there before because I already had the relationship there before. So if you bring your work into Power BI, you might not need to create a relationship because the relationship is there. But I will show you another reason why you need to come back to check your relationship. Come back to your data model every time to check your relationship. I want to show you that, which Power BI does not do for you. You do that yourself. Since Power BI always create relationship, do we still need to create another relationship? You in some data you might not need to, but I'm going to show you an instance of why you need to come back to your and there are different relationships you can create. You are still going into that. There are different type of relationship you can create. So let's say now I want to create a relationship because you don't have a relationship for this now. But Power BI automatically creates for you. So if you want to create a relationship, two things you can do, we can just come to this manage relationship here. You can see the manage relationship ribbon. Manage relationship. If you are following me along, you see manage relationship here. Then here you can say auto detect. So if you say auto detect, you can say auto detect here. It automatically detects the relationship between the tables you have here and add it for you. So if you say you want to create a new relationship, click on new and you select the tables you want to create a relationship between. I want to create a relationship between the sales table and then the customer information table. So now I see automatically here it will detect the column that I want to use to create the relationship, which is my customer, which is the columns I have in the two tables that I have there. So I have the customer here, and also have the customer column here too. So Power BI automatically select the relationship for me. It automatically select the relationship for me. You can see that there. So now if it automatically detects it for me, I can click on OK, and that relationship will be added. Yeah, so let me click on OK. And then you see, I have a relationship here now, as shown here. It's a relationship between Apocalypse sales and customer information. So I'm going to click on OK and wait for that to load. You see that relationship has been created between those two tables. You can see that here now. So if you go over it, or if you click on this string, you can see the string that shows you that there's a relationship between those two tables. You can see the string here, right? So if I hover over the string, it will show me the column I'm using to create the relationship. You can see the customer information column. That's what I'm using to create the relationship between the tables. So the relationship is there between those two tables. And then, as I was saying, we have three types of, 3 or 4, it's 4 types ways you can create relationship. I'm going to edit that my relationship. I want to go back to my relationship again to be able to edit that one I already had there. So what I can do to go back there is click on manage relationship or come to this place that you have the string. Double click on it and you go back to your the relationship. That place that the string that connects the two relationships together. Double click on it and you have you go back to your manage edit relationship interface, which is this. Then when you come down to this place where you see cardinality, let me zoom in. I want to show you guys. You see where you see cardinality. After the last one, you see cardinality there. And under the cardinality, you see something called many to one there. When you click on the drop down, so I was saying you please write down. So I'm going to write down. So we have 4 types of Power BI relationship. You can also call it Power BI relationship cardinalities. So we have the number 1, many to one. We have 1 to 1. We have 1 to many, and we have many to many. So for the first one, what's many to one? So the many to one is, if you look at what we have in this table, I'm going to click on OK again. I'm going to zoom out. Sorry, please. I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to come to my data view. So if you look at this Apocalypse sales here and come down to this which one I'm clicking? Okay, this is it. And you come back to this one, you see that if you looking at this thing, we have like 4 customers here. We have 4 customers. But look at this table we have here. Looking at this table we have here, we have more than 4. It's not that we have more than 4, it's still the same customer, but they are duplicated. Because one customer bought from us, bought different products from us. So it's going to be duplicated. So the many to one is basically because in this table we have here, we have one particular customer or one particular person buying 3 different stuff from us. So if he's trying to match those, remember that within a relationship is matching those 2 tables together. So if he's trying to match it now, when he's going to be matching these two tables, it's going to be many to one, because in this customer information, we have it just once. But in this Apocalypse sale, we have it twice. We have it twice, 3 times. The same customer, but we can get the same customer 3 or 4 times. So we have many to one. Please, do you understand that? Please, do you understand that? No. Oh, that's it. No. Mr. Christopher understood. So it's very simple. Okay. So how did you import the Apocalypse sales data? I used it in the last class. Please, if you've not downloaded it, go to the group. I just even resend it. Download it. It's an Excel file. Import as an import Excel using Excel this thing. Connect to the Excel this thing. Go to your report view. Click on Excel workbook there. The Excel workbook where you are going to get data. Click on Excel workbook and use it to bring it in. I don't know why some will be asking me how I imported the data. Is it just like mapping in mathematics? Yes, because if you are mapping through something, if you have that same thing, but you have 2 tables and you have the same thing in those 2 tables. But in one table, you have some of those products duplicating itself, but it's still the same thing. Navigator. No, why you saying navigator? Please try it down again. Navigator. I didn't say navigator. Then actually sent it to the group. Please check. It's send again to the group. Okay. So if I'm mapping to those two data, you see, I have a duplicate in this one. If I just have, okay, let's say for example, in this data, I have the same amount of customer I have here. That's what I have in this customer information. I'm going to get 1-to-1 because I just have the customer. I don't have any duplicate of those numbers. They are matching each other, but I don't have any duplicates here. But I don't have duplicates this side too. So that's why I get 1-to-1. But because I have duplicates in this myself Apocalypse sales, and I don't have duplicates in my customer information, I will get many to one. You may get it now. So as I say, the cardinality is very simple. It's just depending on the way your data is structured. So if you in one table you have a duplicate, you have the column that you're going to be using to merge tables duplicated. You are going to get many two. And in the other table you have just one that you don't have it duplicated, you're going to get many to one or one to many. So the reason why the reason of one to many is, let me go back there. Just double click to go back to this. So the reason of one to many is basically if my Apocalypse sale is not the one on top, I'm going to get one to many. So you see, I have many to one here. But if I change this from here and I say customer information here, and here I say Apocalypse sale, and I'm using this here to match them. So I see I get one to many. But because my Apocalypse was the first and this one was second, I get many to one. So the relationship is basically used to create a link between two tables. Because if I'm analyzing, or if I'm creating a visual and I'm bringing two different columns from two different tables, and I try to analyze, the information that it's going to give me is not going to actually work out. It's going to be showing me the error. There's one error. It's showing the fix error. There was an error in this. You should fix that. That's what it's going to be showing you. Because you are bringing from two different tables that does not have anything in common, because there's no relationship between them. So, but when you have a relationship between them, you can analyze your data and have a clean, and it will automatically work. When you, for example, now, like the one I did, I said for each, I want to know, yes, I will answer you. Yes, it depends on it. So if let me finish as a play for Miss Bumila said. So as I was saying, Miss Bumila, the relationship is basically created so that I can actually use columns for three or four different tables. It's going to be coming from those different tables, and I can use them to analyze without having errors. But if I don't have any relationship there and I try to do that, it's going to give me errors. So that's the only time you need to use a relationship if you have more than one table and you're going to be analyzing with those tables together. You're going to be getting column from this table and this table to analyze. To analyze, you need to create a relationship. But if you just have one table, there's no need to create a relationship. You don't need, probably I will not even show you. You just have one table there. There's no, because all your information is in that table. And you don't need to go to another table. So when you have your information in one table, you don't need to go to creating a relationship or all that. But when you don't have it, you have it in different tables, you have to create a relationship between those tables for it to work the same way it will do when you have it in one table. So creating a relationship is basically for it to work the same way it will do when you have you just left and came back. I was just talking to you. Like your network is bad. So it's basically to do so that you can use the table, you can analyze the same way you will analyze when you have just one table. That's why you need to create a relationship. It's very simple. And Power BI automatically detects this for you when you come in. Okay, so as I was saying, so you see, I have many to one because now in this first column I have here it does not have any duplicate value. But the second one has duplicate value. So the second is going to be one to many for that now. So when I have something like this, 1 to 1, and here, but now I cannot select this this here because I cannot create a relationship between this. There's no column that I don't have any column between that is like the mainstay between these two, this thing here. So I can actually do, sorry, I am back. Please give me solar. I will explain again. Let me finish what I'm talking about. So I cannot create between these two because there's no common ground between them. If you look at it, we have product ID, product name, price, and production cost. Then here we have customer ID, customer information, address, city, state, and zip code. So there's no column that matches each other between these two tables here. So I cannot create a relationship between them. So I can only create a relationship between this table and this sales apocalypse table here. So if I'm creating a relationship between these two tables, I am always going to get either is many to one or one to many, depending on how the columns, depending on the tables you are selecting. So if I'm selecting the customer information first, which has no duplicate value, it does not have any duplicate value for the information for what you're going to be using to match the two tables. We are going to get one here. Then select the second one, which has the duplicate value, which is apocalypse table, that it has duplicate value. Then we are going to get many. Same thing applies to when you have one-to-one. So if the value here is not duplicated and the value here is not duplicated, you get 1 to 1. If the value here is duplicated and the value here is duplicated, you get many to many. So if I click on it, it's not going to work because the relationship is not duplicated, because you can see that if I move this up, showing me this relationship has cardinality many to many. This should only be used if it's expected that either column information and column information contains unique values. Unique value means it's duplicated. Like I said, it has duplicate value of that same thing that you're going to be using in there. And that's the significantly different behavior of many to many relationship is understood. So basically, for this many to many, you have to have many duplicate value here and also duplicate value here for that to be able to work. So let's say if I have apocalypse sales, apocalypse sales, apocalypse sales, apocalypse sales, which I cannot, but if I come here, I cannot get apocalypse sales again. So let's say I have another table that has duplicate value of this, I can select that. So now, with this relationship created now, I will show you how it looks now. So I'm going to, in this my column, I'm going to remove this, my customer here, because I'm bringing it from this apocalypse sales. I want to bring it in from this customer information because I have my relationship there now. You can see that it's also working the same way it worked when I brought it from this apocalypse sales table, because now I have a relationship between these two tables. And it's not showing me that error again. Please, do you understand? Please, do we understand? It's going to be solar. Say no. Okay, yes. Please repeat. Okay, let me repeat it again. Please open your ear very well. So as I was saying, achieve fast in your explanation. Okay, so let me come now. And so as I was saying, Power BI relationship. I think I should bring it up with text that shows you, really show, like, explain this thing better. Let me just Google it and use it out for you guys so that you'll be able to understand. So just 1 minute. I want to just I will show you guys again. Let me just so that I give you more understanding on. I'm going to be using ChatGPT for an explanation text that is better for you guys to. My data is lost. Let me just give an explanation text. Power BI relationship. Just explanation text. What do you have? Let's probably get an explanation next. Okay, so Power BI says, I say Power BI, ChatGPT says, Power BI relationship refers to the way you establish connection between different tables in your data model within the Power Query application, within the Power BI application, not Power Query, Power BI application. I think this is better. So it refers to the way you establish connection between different tables in your data model. So I have two different tables, and I want to analyze those two different tables. I want to bring in a column from this table and a column from this table, and I want to use it to create an, like, for example, I gave bringing in my units sold, and I want to bring in the customers I sold those units to, to know the amount of units I sold to them, to a particular customer. So if I'm doing that for two different tables, you see that I'm bringing in a column from this and a column from this. So without a relationship, Power BI is just seeing the tables as different tables. So if you're not meant to analyze those tables, you're just meant to analyze it differently. So if you're trying to analyze the table, I want to analyze them together. You need to create a relationship between them, so that I can bring in, so that while analyzing the table now, while creating my visuals, I can bring in a column from this table and a column from this table, and I can use them to analyze and it will work well. So that's basically why we need the relationship. I already showed you an example saying that in this I brought the first thing I did. Let me remove the relationship again, and I'll show you what it will show you if you don't have a relationship between the table. Delete and delete this. So I have that deleted. I've deleted the relationship. Then if I come back here and wait for it to load, it will reload itself. Time. Let me cancel the feedback. Okay. So let me go. So as I was saying, look now for this one, it's not showing us the error, but look at what it's showing us now. If you look at this, the total units sold for each and every one of the customers. Yes, you need to have a relationship between for a better understanding. So if you look at this data I have here, my total units sold is 3,000. This is the last one I have here is total units sold. But look at for each and every one of the states, I'm still getting 3,000. Why is that so? I'm not for Minnesota. I did not say 3,000 in Minnesota now. My total unit sold is 3,000, but in Texas I'm getting 3,000. This one I'm getting 3,000. So that means because there's no communication between these two tables. That's because there's no communication between these two tables. Importing data. I can't start from importing data. I just import data from Excel now. Using your importing data again, Miss Ola. Okay, after importing data. After importing data, this is what I'm doing now. there's no, after importing data, after I imported the data, I just deleted the relationship. After that now, because automatically, Power BI automatically deleted the relationship and add the relationship for you. So I deleted this because I want to show you what happens if you don't have a relationship. So that's all I did. After that now, I came in, started explaining about the relationship. So there's no other steps before there. So let me go on. So for this table now, if you look at this table, you can see that my total units sold is 3,001. But other units sold is still for each and every one you say that I'm using, it's still showing me 3,001. The reason I showed me 3,001 is because there's no relationship between those two tables. If I bring in my customer information, it's still going to show me here. Is it showing me? Okay, I'm using customer ID, not customer information. Let me use customer ID, customer name. You see that for each and every one of the customers, showing me 3,001, 3,000. So for this table, what it's doing is adding the total units sold and this together, but it's not like giving me the correct answer. $3,001, I used my is my unit sold. The 3,001 is unit sold. Come to my data here. This is my unit sold here. So what I'm actually doing here now is I want to see the unit sold for each and every one of those customers. I want to know the amount of units I sold to each and every one of those customers. Are you getting it? So now, after doing that, I summed up those two columns. But that sum up, I'm going to do it again in the next class. That's tax. That's when we get to tax expression. That's why I'm going to talk about that. If I start talking about that now, it's going to take, you're not going to explore. I just sum this thing up, sum up those total units sold there, and I get my information. Mr. Lapp, please unmute.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Okay, so what we are saying, what I'm saying, me personally is, immediately after importing the data, you want to create a relationship. That's why I said, okay, let's start from there. Because this one that you summed up,
now I see the sum up. You're not meant to understand it now. Just know that I summed up. That one is when we get to that. I said I said that I'm going to explain that one when we get to the class. Do you understand? When we get to the DAX function class. So that one I did not actually explain.
So when you now brought in the unit sold and those things, you didn't show us again.
I will, okay. Let me show you how I brought it in. That one is, I'm still going to show these ones later, but I'm just going to give you, please don't mute though.
Yes.
So when I bring this in, now I'm showing you the reason why you need to create a relationship. Like I said. So when I bring this in now, there's no relationship in this place. I already deleted the relationship there. So there's no relationship between them. So you get, so from this here now, let's say I want to analyze, and I want to bring in a column from this, my Apocalypse, and a column from my customer information. That's what I want to use to analyze. So if I bring the column I want to bring here is total units sold. I'm going to bring it in. Then the one I want to bring in here, and my total units sold is 3,001. That's the total unit I sold that was sold by my company. You get? Then I want to know how many units, the total units sold for each and every one of those customers I have. So I'm going to bring in the customer name column into this place. But look at this now. You see that? Let me zoom in so that you can see it. If you look at this, you see that instead of it showing us for each and every one of those customers, instead of it showing us the total unit they bought, it's showing us 3,001 for them.
Okay.
But it's meant to show us the total unit bought by each and every one of those customers. Okay. Because this 3,001 is our total unit sold. That's what our company sold in total.
Okay.
So I guess so this is why I'm showing us like this, because there's no relationship between those two tables.
Okay, sir.
You get, so that's why we need to put a relationship. And as I said before, relationship comes in with your Power. When you bring in Power, you bring in data. As far as it's 2 or 3 tables, Power BI will try to automatically detect the relationship for you and add it. So in some cases, you might not need to create relationship again. Understand? Okay. So then, I'm trying to leave this zoom in. I cannot see the icon. I think it's F4. Please, I'm coming. Let me zoom out. A. Okay, so let me zoom out. Okay, so now let's create the relationship and see how it's going to look. I'm going to come down here. So to create my relationship, I already showed you can go to manage relationship and use it to do that. And you can also just from this one, the what we want to use to create relationship here is by no, it's not from I'm trying to create product information and customer information and product apocalypse. That's why I'm creating relationship. So I'm going to just drag the come to this place, select the customer name and drag it to this particular one, drag it on top of this. I can create my relationship like that too. If I drag it on top of this, relationship will be created. So you see, I have created a relationship like this. I can create it like this. Just drag over those columns, or I can just come to my manage relationship, create it from there. So manage relationship, add new, and then Apocalypse sales, select this, and Apocalypse customer information, and it's going to automatically tell the relationship for me, which is going to be this and this. Then I have that many to one. I click on my OK, and I click on close, and I go. It's going to wait for it. Add relationship. Go to my report view, and what you see now. Looking at this now, you see that for each and every one of those customers, you can see the amount they bought. So total units sold to this customer is 613. For this one, 828. For this one, 606. For this one, 951. You get it now, Miss Sola?
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on. Hope every other person understand now. Hope we all understand. Take it again. Please watch the video. I cannot take it again. If I take it again, we are going to sleep here. Please watch the video later. The video is actually in Stella. I have a recorded video on this relationship. Go and watch it. It's there. And I'm going to drop this recording because I have other things to talk about today. So let's not waste it. So that's that. So we create a relationship now. So I created a relationship now. So let's say now. But listen now, I want to do another and I want to analyze again. But the analysis I want to do again now is not coming from, it's no longer coming from this my Apocalypse sales team. But it's coming from Apocalypse store and Apocalypse customer information. Let's say I want to bring in a column from Apocalypse store and customer information. Let's do that. So let's say for let me go and tell you what I want to do. So let's say for this Apocalypse store, I want to know Apocalypse store. Okay, I just want to see an instance of what I can use between them. So let's say I want to bring in for the states. I want to know states. Something I should be able to do this. Just trying to give something that okay. Let's say for this one now, I want to count the total products we have. So total product we have, I'm going to come to this line. Here, I'm going to go to this place. I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to bring in a table, a new table. This is my table configuration here. And I'm going to bring in my states. This is customer name. Bring it into this column. And I'm going to bring in my for my Apocalypse store, I'm going to bring in my what's it called? Product ID. Let's see product ID. So you see, my total products we have is 10. Total product we have is 10. That's the total product we have. But if you look at for this one, you see showing me, I'm still seeing 10 here. 10 here, 10 here, 10 here. So what I can do for this is, now let's create a relationship for this. You can say that what we can do is to create a relationship between this Apocalypse sales and these two. So let's do that. Because now we cannot create a relationship between this customer information and this our product, our Apocalypse store, because there's no common table between them. There's nothing common between them. The only table that we have the only table we have the information that we use is Apocalypse sales. That's what we can actually use to create a relationship in this table here now. This is our model here. So I cannot create a relationship between this customer information and Apocalypse store for what I have here to actually work, to actually show me the correct information, because I'm sure that maybe not all my customers bought not all the customers bought all the 10 products I have. So I should actually get one that is not shared. So what I can do now is, I create a relationship between these two tables. I know I have a column that I can use to create a relationship. So if I come to manage relationship, add new, and click on Apocalypse sales and Apocalypse store, and it automatically sends the relationship for me, which is my product ID, which is going to be many to one. I'm going to click on OK and close. So the relationship has been created. You can see that relationship has been created between these two tables. Let's go back to that place and wait for it to load. So you see, she's showing us the same thing. So she's showing us the same thing. So and now we don't have anything that we're going to be used to create the relationship between these two tables. So what we can do, we can do what we call cross filter. We can do what we call cross filter. So cross filter is, you know that the information what we are doing here now is going through this thing is going through here to this place now. But now, okay, so for example, now if you are featuring this table, which is what we are going to be doing here, which is what it's doing for us for this to get something like this. We are featuring through this table now. It's just going to be going from this table to this one. If you have this relationship we have, is going from this table to this one. And the relationship we have is going from this table to this one. So it's just basically going, this relationship here is just going from here to this, and this one is just going from here to this one. So none of this relationship is going from here through here to this part, and none of them is going from here to this downward. So what we can do is create a cross filter. So to create a cross filter, you right click on properties. You can double click on to just go to edit. Then look at the right hand side. You see where they wrote cross filter direction. Cross filter direction. I hope people that follow me have seen it. So just change this cross filter direction from single to both. Single to both. And click on OK. And let's see that. So we have a cross filter. That means now any relationship that is between these two tables, the relationship that is coming from this table now to this table will also touch this table. So the relationship that is coming from Apocalypse store to Apocalypse sales will also touch the Apocalypse, will also touch the customer information table, because we have a cross filter. It's not just filtering from Apocalypse sales to Apocalypse store. It's also filtering from Apocalypse store to Apocalypse sales and Apocalypse sales to customer information, because we have our cross filter. So when I come to this part now, you can see now it's not giving me the correct answer, which is showing me that my Alex preps Alex the analytic Apocalypse preppers have bought 9 products from us. Not all the products we have, they bought 9. The Apocalypse Preppers United bought 7. Apocalypse for Anything Prepping Store bought 8 products. So none of them bought, okay, only Uncle Jonah store bought all the 10 products we have. So do we see that now? So we don't need to now, with this our cross filter now, we don't need to create as far as there's a relationship between the Apocalypse sales and Apocalypse store, and there's a relationship between Apocalypse sales and Apocalypse information and customer information, and we have our cross filter in any one of the Apocalypse sales, in either the relationship that is going from Apocalypse sales to Apocalypse store, or the one that is going from Apocalypse sales to customer information. When we add any cross filter between them, we are going to be able to analyze. So any filtering that we are doing can go through from customer information to Apocalypse Apocalypse store. So that means we can bring in a column from customer information and bring in a column from Apocalypse Store, and we get our answer without us having an actual relationship between those two tables, because we have our cross filter, and our cross filter means that relationship, that we have one relationship that is going, that the relationship that is going from the Apocalypse sales to the Apocalypse Store now is also going from the Apocalypse Store to the Apocalypse sales, and also to the Apocalypse, as I'm saying Apocalypse again, and also to the customer information, not Apocalypse, and also to the customer information, because we have our cross filter there. So that means it will go there because we have our cross filter there. You see that our filtering now is no longer going just one way, it's going two ways. That means from Apocalypse Store now, we go from Apocalypse Store to Apocalypse sales, and Apocalypse sales to Apocalypse. Why am I always saying Apocalypse? Customer information, not Apocalypse, please. From Apocalypse Store to Apocalypse sales to to customer information. That means we can create a cross filter between customer information and Apocalypse Store. No, you cannot create a cross filter between customer information and Apocalypse Store, because there's no actual relationship between customer information and Apocalypse Store. The relationship there is between customer information and Apocalypse sales, and customer information and Apocalypse sales, and Apocalypse sales and Apocalypse Store is between Apocalypse Store and Apocalypse sales, and Apocalypse sales and Apocalypse sales and customer information. So the relationship is just going to Apocalypse sales. So the cross filter is so that the filtering that we're going to be doing can also go through from Apocalypse Store to customer information without us having a relationship between those two tables. Please, do you understand? Trying to. Yeah. Let me think I should. So let's look at this like Mr. Sales. Okay, so let's look at it like this. So let's look at this as what the relationship we are creating as filter. That is just us creating a filter. So let's say now if we are creating a filter between these two relationships, it's going to be between these two relationships now. So anything you are doing is meant to be just between these two. But when we add our cross filter, that cross filter, as far as there's a relationship between the Apocalypse Store, Apocalypse sales, and the customer information, when we add a cross filter in the Apocalypse sales and Apocalypse Store relationship, that means anything you are doing with Apocalypse sales and Apocalypse Store and customer information will actually work perfectly without giving us error, because we have a cross filter there, which means our what's it called? Our relationship now is overflowing. It's overflowing from the Apocalypse sales. It's pouring out from the Apocalypse sales now and going into the Apocalypse Store. From Apocalypse sales now, it's coming from Apocalypse Store, but now it's overflowing and going into customer information, because we have a cross filter. Cross filter is just like when you get to the Apocalypse Store, you open a door there so that you can also have that go into the Apocalypse the customer information. You're opening a door so that anything I'm putting from Apocalypse Store now, that relationship I created from Apocalypse Store can, when it gets to Apocalypse sales, it has a pathway for it to also touch Apocalypse. So I just name this to Apocalypse. So when it gets to Apocalypse, it has an open door that it can follow through to go to the customer information. So I'm going to unmute. Please unmute. I just click to show it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The question is, can we have the cross filter in the customer information, and that is the link between the customer information and the Apple whatever store? Is it possible to have Is it possible to have a cross filter there?
Yes, you
apart
can.
from
You can.
Okay, that's my question.
And now, but don't create it for the two of them.
Okay.
You create it for one.
All right.
One is always better. Because when you have too many data, this might be eating each other. When you have too many data, and maybe let's say for example now, I have another data now that is coming, I'm creating a relationship for this one now. Like for example now, I have another data that is coming into this one now. That I'm going, there's another relationship that is going from my customer information to another data. So if I'm doing something like that, when I have a filter that is going through this way and going through this way, it's going to be hitting the other one that I have there. So because I don't need it to touch that one, I just need to create a relation that cross filter in my Apocalypse stock. But that does not mean I can also create it in my customer information if I want to do that. But always try to create just one, because one will work for anything. If you create one that is going to work for the other one, you don't need to create like two cross filters. So
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. We can stop here for today as we rationalize what you are saying. So I'm going to recap this. I understand that it might be a bit technical and all that. So I understand that. I'm going to recap it in the next class. So that's not a problem. But please, if you don't understand, you can still, so that I can, and tell me where you don't understand so I can fresh. Please, is there anybody that doesn't understand? If you don't like, because that's the last thing we're talking about today. Okay, Miss, you can unmute. I just.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
It's quite confusing to me. Please, can you take away the participants? I want to see the tables.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, can we, since we can create a filter, a cross filter between Apocalypse Store and Apocalypse Sales, can we then as well create a cross filter between Apocalypse Sales and customer information?
We can.
We can, right?
We can.
Okay.
You can actually create. It's not like look at this. I can actually, let me just be showing you why I'm doing it. So it's just change it to cross filter and apply. It will be added there for you. You see that it has been added. You can actually create it.
Okay. I think I've gotten it now.
So, but what I'm saying to her is that it's best to just have one, because you are just like eating each other like this. If you have one here going to this thing is going to work. You don't actually need two.
Okay, and one is okay. One is okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as this one is connected to this, one is okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, so Mr. Sanjay, please unmute.
Yeah, well done, sir. Mr. Kingsley.
Yeah,
I must say you are a fantastic teacher. God bless you. But I think from my observation, why people are finding it relatively confusing or difficult to understand is because at times when you are making reference to what you have on the screen, you assume us to be in a live class. I mean, we're in a one-on-one class, okay? And you are making a hand gesture to this and that. And at the end of the day, believing that, yes, we can get it straight away. But you are actually using your mouse to give us direction. So I think you can take cognizance of that, take note of that by probably the movement of your mouse. I actually understand everything perfectly because I actually watched the video before now. So it's more or less like you are just giving me more illumination to it. So perfectly I understand. But for people who are finding it difficult to understand, that's why I'm saying this, because at times you say something like, okay, you see this, you see that, but I'll be looking at the screen. Where is this man talking? I mean, pointing to. So after carefully looking around, that's when I will now get it. And that's because it's even because I've watched the video before, the video on seller before now. So, but what of somebody that is just coming in contact with this for the first time, like tonight? So I think you should work on this, sir. I'm sorry that you should note that we are not in a one-on-one class. That is, we are not in a live class. We are in a virtual class. So, and your mouse is your aid to lead us. So when you are moving it, please, sir, you can just help us to move it gently so that we can easily follow. So that's just my observation, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Eric, please unmute. Mr. Eric.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, mine has to do with advice.
By what?
If like we are following,
Okay.
but if at any point we are lost, what I think you have to do is to just take your time and just follow. But if you want to continue to do, you lose the whole thing. So what happened after you caught it? So I didn't understand this. If you are lost, just take your time and just you observe. Whatever it is, you come back to do it, then you can pick it up from where you were lost. If not, and you want to do, you get lost completely, and then you want to take us back to where you were.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you.
So for the people that don't understand, please, can you raise your hand and tell me where you don't understand so that I can? Because that's the last thing we need to talk about your assignment now. I'm going to try to be a bit slower, very, very slow in the next class. So you all understand. So is there anybody that doesn't understand? Please raise your hand. Let me unmute you so that you can point out where you don't understand. Or is everyone that person good to go? Okay, so nobody is raising his hand. I think that's nice. So basically, as I said before, Power BI with automatic. Okay, that's what it's doing. Okay, please unmute.
Okay. Hello.
I can hear you.
Hello. Well done, Mr. Kingsley. We appreciate your good work. Please, mine is an observation. Please, when sending the link, whether for the video to the why can you please be putting on the topic? So we won't get confused when we're going through it. Even if it's an assignment, the topic we just discussed, you can just maybe after you attach it to it, let it be done. So when you're checking later on, you won't be confused which one is which. You understand?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to move on. So I'm going to the same way I did the last assignment. I'm going to type it. Okay, let me. It's not that hard. So basically, what you're doing for me is just creating the cross filter, because creating the relationship is not. I think it's not that hard to do. You create a relationship and create the cross filter. Send me a picture of it. Create the relationship and create the cross filter and send me a picture of it. That's my assignment. It's not, and because relationship is actually something that we might not need to do that much when we are doing on it. The only thing we need to actually do is when we need to create a cross filter, because Power BI does not have a cross filter. You always use it as symbol. So it's only when you need a cross filter that's when you need to actually go to your relation, because everything will be detected for you behind that. So that's basically the assignment is. I will drop it in the group also. I'll type it out and drop it. Assignment. Create a relationship and create a cross filter between these two tables and send me a picture, screenshot, please, a screenshot, not the Power BI file, because it's always hard for me to open this thing. So please just send a picture of it to me. So in the absence of any other question, I'm going to put, okay, for the next class, the main thing I'm talking about for the next class is DAX function. DAX function. Please watch the video, which is already in the Power BI. Okay. But the timing to watch, some people might not be able to watch the video. But if you don't watch the video, it's still okay, because that is it's going to be 2 class, it's going to be 1 class because of the length of the functions. So please, but if you can, go through the video and follow up. Just go through the video. Yeah. I'm going to drop the assignment. I'm going to try to drop the recording early morning tomorrow so that you can go through it and do your assignment and submit. So in the absence of any other question, I'm going to call the class because see you guys on Monday. DAX function, yeah. That function is uploaded. Oh. Please check it again. It's uploaded. That function is uploaded. Check it there. It's there. I know that all the DAX function video might not be there. I'm going to talk about all. I know record every DAX function. But that function are plenty. It's just like Excel when you have formulas. You have like 400 formulas. So it's still the same thing as that. But I'm going to talk about the important ones. Once you are actually going to use the most. And some of them are not in that place. I'm not recorded yet. I'm going to still add them. They're not there. But I have some there. I have like some X. Lookup values there. So column counts. So just go through that if you can. But then I'm going to talk about it in the class. So please, that function is there. Go and check it again. Okay, so see you guys on Monday. Please do my assignment too. Good night, everyone. Good night, good night, good night.